Fight fire with fire, bursting with fear. Fight fire with fire, ending is near. We are to die. Hey there, rock and roll junkies. Charlie here with another Grey Wolf review. This time we're gonna do Metallica, Hardwired, Self-Destruct. I'm wearing my Ride the Lightning shirt. This happens to be my favorite Metallica album. One day I'll review that one, but for the time being, we're going to do Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Now, Hardwired to Self-Destruct was released November 18, 2016, but before that, let's get into my history with Metallica. Now, the first time I heard Metallica had to have been in 8th grade. The first song I ever heard was Master of Puppets, and I did not like it at all. I guess at that time, that was a bit too much for me, too heavy for me. Which is funny to think about now. But I didn't like it at all. I wouldn't really get into them until 10th grade or so. I tried listening to Master Puppets and some other stuff in 8th grade and 9th grade. It just didn't work for me, it just didn't click. It wasn't until 10th that I think I listened to some of the Black album. I think it was Enter Sandman. And then I just started to get more into them, it's also funny because I really do not like Enter Sandman nowadays. I don't. I really wish they would never play that song ever again. But, you know, in 10th grade, that's really where the big boom of Metallica happened for me. And ever since then, I've been really into them. I love Metallica. I worship Metallica. They're like in my top 10 bands of all time. I just idolize them. And I think the first 4 albums are just pure perfection through and through. Cover to cover. But, you know, Metallica had that little thing in the 90s where their albums just were not up to par to what the 80s set up for them. And I've honestly never listened to Load and Reload fully. Not once. I've heard songs off of them. I remember like 3 songs maybe. But I never had the interest to listen to that. The Black Album, I've listened to the Black Album, and I think it's a decent album. I don't think it's horrible. People think it's the worst thing ever made. It's not. It's decent. It's just not what you expect from them. But that being said, there are a lot of songs on the Black Album that I really do just love. Not even enjoy, but love. But overall, the album as a whole, it doesn't have the same love that I have for the first 4 albums. Saint Anger, I've never heard it. I've listened to the title track, and that's it. I've never listened to a single track off of Saint Anger besides that. And let's see, Death Magnetic, I've heard that before. I don't remember it because I heard it a long time ago, but for the most part, I think I liked it. This one, however, Hardwired to Self-Destruct, I was really hyped for this one. I love Metallica, and I expected a lot because I think they said they were going to go back to the roots with this one. There was a lot of hype surrounding this album, and I heard it. I remember I listened to it, and I had mixed opinions with it, and that's what I'm going to say about this review. This review is going to be somewhat polarizing. If you absolutely love this album, like every single track on this album, then we're going to have a bit of an issue because I don't love every track on this album. I do love this album. The good outweighs the bad, but I don't think it's a perfect album at all. It has its flaws, and I feel it could have been perfect. It could have been fixed, but it is what it is. And I feel like, you know, they have a lot of potential for the next album to be really good. So let's get into it. As I said, it was released November 18th, 2016. The first track is Hardwired. This was the first single. It was released August 18. I remember when this came out. I was at school, and I was on Blabbermouth, I think, and it's a new Metallica song, and I was just like waiting for class to be over so I could listen to it. And I listened to it, and I did not like it. I hated this song. Oh my god, I thought it was horrible. I liked the music. I guess it was fast, and it was like relentless. It was very thrashy, and I liked that about it, but I just hated the lyrics. I thought they were mediocre. I thought they were repetitive. I thought it was just completely juvenile. I hated it. I just did not like this song at all. And then I just listened to it more and more the coming weeks, and then I just ended up really liking it. I love this song. Like, it became my favorite song on the album. for a while. Like when the album came out, this song came out in August, and then the album came out in November. Even in November, this was my favorite song for a while. It's not my favorite song on the album anymore. It might be my third, maybe, but for the time being, I completely changed my mind with this song after listening to it. I think the drums are great. Like right off the gate, you just hear Lars's drums and just like brrr, like hitting it hard. It's very fast, very thrash. Has a total punk vibe. The lyrics completely punk. This is it's really fast. It's really reminiscent of something off of Kill 'Em All. I like the solo. I love the solo. I just feel it's a little bit short. James sounds just absolutely fantastic on this thing. I love when he says "go," you know, like he does that. Damaging, and he does that on another song on here. I think it's Moth into Flame, where he just says "go," and the whole band's just like. Darr. I love that. I just love that about the song. Now, this song was written last for the album, and James was not James, but his friend who's a recovering addict. He was talking to him one day. I think the story was that he feels that just men are just hardwired to fall apart, that they're just hardwired to self-destruct. They just want to implode. And James, liked that, and he used it for the album. So, most riffs on this album are made by James. And that's the problem I have with this album. Not that the riffs, that the lack of input by Kirk really is a problem here, but we'll deal with that later. I just want to say that all the songs on here are in standard tuning, which is interesting to think of a current heavy metal album to be in standard tuning. Now the next song, we're moving on to the next song, which is Atlas Rise. This one came out October 31st. It was the third single. I liked it at first. It had like this Iron Maiden vibe to it, and people were just calling it Iron Maiden ripoff. It's not. I hear the Iron Maiden influence there, but it has its own little thing going for it, which I really like. This is my favorite song. Like right now, as of now, it's my favorite song. I feel this song is long, but it never overstays its welcome, like an Iron Maiden song would do. I love the lyrics and the vocal delivery. I love how he just sings this song. The chorus and the melody is great. It has a very melodic solo. The drums, I like the drums here. It kind of reminds me of something off Injustice, the drumming style of Lars there. I just think it's a great song overall. I think it's fantastic. I've heard live versions of this song, and they just completely do it justice live. Now the story here is about the myth of Atlas and how Zeus condemned him to hold the sky, And so James wrote this feeling that sometimes people put too much on their own shoulders, and then other people have to come in and help them out. Like he talked about Lars and how he felt like Lars was having a lot of stress, and he was like, just give me some of that burden. Let me carry some of that to help you out. Because otherwise people carry the burden and just whine about it. But if you just help them out, they can really just ease things and move forward. And I really like this song. I really like the story behind it, about Atlas and all that. I think it's a great song. And now we move on to the next song, which is Now That We're Dead. Now, this song, first time I heard it, I didn't care for it at all. It was just there. But now I absolutely just love it. I just love it so much. It gets you hooked right from the intro. It has a classic Metallica intro. This review is going to be scrapped. I forgot the dog was snoring. Oh well. Deleted scene. Anyways, I feel like I'm not prepared for this one. This is a long one. I'm gonna redo this. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to stay metal, stay devil, stay Metallica.